This is Australia, the land where kangaroos outnumber people, spiders look like they lift weights, and the weather can't decide if it's beach time or fire season. Home to over 26 million people spread across a continent so huge it could fit the United Kingdom nearly 32 times. Australia is not just a country, it's an entire continent disguised as one, covering more than 7.6 million square kilometers. It's the world's sixth largest country, but here's the twist. Most of that land is empty. Nearly 90% of Australians live near the coast, leaving the middle of the country to kangaroos, red deserts, and a few very confused tourists who took a wrong turn out of Sydney. Australia is one of the most unique, diverse, and geographically isolated countries on Earth, and that's exactly what makes it so fascinating. From coral reefs visible from space to pink lakes that look like spilled strawberry milk, this country is a natural wonderland. So, whether you're dreaming of a trip down under or just here for some fun facts that'll make you sound smart at parties, buckle up, because we're diving into 30 mind-blowing facts about Australia's geography that'll make you say, wait, that's actually real?
Fact number 30. Brisbane has the largest city hall in the country. Welcome to Brisbane, the capital of Queensland, a city that decided to go big or go home. And boy, they went big. Brisbane City Hall isn't just another government building. It's an architectural flex, 2 acres wide with 573 rooms and the largest copper dome in all of Australia. Back in the early 1900s, this thing was such a massive project that it was second only to the Sydney Harbour Bridge in size and importance. So yeah, if you ever get lost in City Hall, don't panic. You're probably still somewhere on the same floor. Fact number 29. There are wild penguins in Australia. You probably think penguins belong in Antarctica, right? Cold, icy, cute little tuxedo birds? Well, guess what? They also hang out in Australia. The country has its very own little penguins, found in the southern state. The most famous spot, Phillip Island, where every evening they waddle out of the ocean like a tiny marching band in suits. It's called the Penguin Parade, and it's ridiculously adorable. So next time you imagine Australia, don't just picture kangaroos, add some penguins doing their bedtime commute. Fact number 28. Around 87% of Australians live on the coast. Australia is huge, but here's the thing. Most of it is empty. Like really empty. Nearly 87% of Australians live within 50 kilometers of the coast, leaving the rest of the country to snakes, red dust, and Google Maps' confusion. The middle of Australia is mostly desert, hot, dry, and lonely. Meanwhile, the edges? Beaches, BBQs, and coastal cities that make it seem like every day's a vacation. Basically, Aussie said, the outback? Nah, mate, too spicy. Let's stay near the water. Fact number 27. There are more camels in Australia than in Egypt. Yep, you heard that right. The land down under has more camels than Egypt. They were originally brought over by the British in the 1800s for transportation across the outback. But when trains and trucks showed up, people just let the camels go. Now, they roam freely across the desert, thriving like they own the place. Australia even exports camels back to the Middle East. Imagine that. The country that rides kangaroos on memes is shipping camels to Arabia.
Fact number 26. Uluru is the largest single rock monolith in the world. Deep in the heart of the outback sits Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock. It's not just a giant rock, it's the giant rock, the largest single monolith on Earth. Unlike other rock formations that are made up of multiple types of stone, Uluru is one solid chunk of sandstone, standing 348 meters tall. This iconic landmark glows red during sunrise and sunset, like nature's lava lamp. It's also sacred to the Anangu Aboriginal people, who have lived in the region for thousands of years. So when you visit, remember, it's not just a rock. It's a cultural treasure older than most civilizations. Fact number 25. Australia is home to the oldest living fossils on Earth. In Western Australia's Hamelin Pool, you'll find something mind-blowing. Living fossils called stromatolite. These ancient formations date back over 3 billion years, built by tiny bacteria that were basically Earth's original architects.
And the crazy part? They're still alive today, quietly bubbling away under the Australian sun. So yeah, next time someone calls Australia an ancient land, they're not kidding. Parts of it have literally been alive since before dinosaurs were even an idea. Fact number 23. Australian dollar is one of the most advanced currencies in the world. Australian money isn't just colorful, it's genius. They were the first country to switch from paper to polymer bills back in 1988. That means their notes are waterproof, tear-resistant, and almost impossible to counterfeit. Plus, they look like tiny art pieces, bright colors, transparent windows, and hidden features. So while other countries worry about soggy money in the rain, Aussies just go for a swim with theirs. Fact number 23. Perth is the only city where planes can land in the CBD. In most cities, landing a plane downtown would get you arrested. But in Perth, it's tradition. Back in the 1920s, a stretch of grass called Langley Park in the city center served as a makeshift airstrip. Even today, small planes sometimes land there during special events, just to keep the tradition alive. So yeah, Perth doesn't just have traffic, it has air traffic. Fact number 22. Australia is home to the world's oldest tropical rainforest. Forget the Amazon. The Daintree rainforest in Queensland is even older. Scientists estimate it's between 35 and 180 million years old, making it the oldest tropical rainforest on Earth. It's also one of the few places where two World Heritage Sites meet, the Daintree itself and the Great Barrier Reef just offshore. So in one trip, you can walk through ancient jungle and then dive into the world's biggest coral reef. Nature's 2-for-1 deal. Fact number 21. Sydney Harbour is the largest natural harbour in the world. When people picture Australia, they often imagine the Sydney Opera House or the Harbour Bridge, both sitting proudly on Sydney Harbour, which happens to be the largest natural harbour on Earth. Covering about 55 square kilometers, it's home to dolphins, turtles, and yes, even sharks. It's deep, massive, and stunning. Basically, nature's version of a luxury waterfront. So next time you see that postcard shot of Sydney, remember, you're looking at one of the world's biggest natural wonders, hiding behind skyscrapers and ferries.
Fact number 20. Australia was the second country in the world to give women the right to vote. Back in 1902, Australia said, you know what? Let's be early to something for once, and gave women the right to vote and stand in elections. That made Australia the second country in the world to do so, right after New Zealand. So while the rest of the world was still arguing about whether women could even own property, Aussie women were already ticking boxes on ballots and running campaigns. Basically, equality got a head start down under. Fact number 19. Voting is mandatory in Australia. Here's a wild one. In Australia, you don't get to skip election day. It's literally illegal not to vote. If you don't show up, you get fined. So while some countries beg their citizens to vote, Australia just says, nah, mate, you're doing it. Maybe that's why they've got one of the highest voter turnouts in the world. Nobody wants to pay 20 bucks just to be lazy. Fact number 18. There are over 10,000 beaches in Australia. 10,000 beaches. Let that sink in. If you visited a new one every single day, it would take you more than 27 years to see them all. From gold sand shores in Queensland to red cliffs in Western Australia. It's no wonder beach life is practically a religion there. So yeah, Australians take their weekend getaway a little too seriously. Fact number 17. Quokkas, the happiest animals on Earth. If Disney made a real animal mascot, it would be the quokka. These tiny smiling marsupials live mainly on Rottnest Island, and they always look like they're posing for selfies. They're friendly, fearless, and 100% photogenic. So when people say Australia's dangerous, remember, it's also home to the happiest face in nature. Fact number 16. The Great Barrier Reef is the largest coral reef system on Earth. Stretching more than 2,300 kilometers across the Coral Sea, the Great Barrier Reef is so massive you can see it from space. It's made up of around 2,900 reefs and 900 islands, hosting countless marine species. It's basically the ocean's version of a megacity, but with better views and no traffic. Snorkel here, and you'll feel like you've dived straight into a living rainbow. Fact number 15. Australia is the only continent without an active volcano. Scared of volcanoes?
Move to Australia. It's the only continent on Earth without an active one. That's right. No fiery mountains ready to blow, no surprise lava. With all their snakes, spiders, and sharks, the country clearly decided it had enough natural drama already. So while the rest of the world worries about eruptions, Aussies just worry about sunscreen. Fact number 14. Tasmania has the cleanest air in the world. Forget expensive air purifiers. Just breathe in Tasmania. Specifically, at Cape Grim, scientists say the air is the purest on Earth. Thanks to strong winds from the untouched Southern Ocean, the air here is practically bottled perfection. If oxygen had a luxury brand, it'd be called Tasmanian Air Co.
Fact number 13. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures are among the oldest in the world.
Long before the British showed up, Australia was home to cultures that go back 50,000 to 60,000 years. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples built traditions, languages, and art that still live today. Their rock art is among the oldest surviving art on the planet. So when you stand before those ancient paintings, you're not just looking at art. You're staring straight into human history. Fact number 12. Convicts helped form Australia's first police force. Here's some irony for you. The first cops in Australia were former criminals. When the British sent shiploads of convicts in the late 1700s, some eventually earned early release and ended up enforcing the law themselves. Imagine getting pulled over by a guy who once stole the boat you came on, only in Australia. Fact number 11. You can find some of the whitest sand in the world in Australia. And here it is, the one we warned you about. Fact number 11 will blow your mind. Australia has beaches so white they make snow look dirty. Places like Hyams Beach in New South Wales and Lucky Bay in Western Australia have sand that's nearly pure silica, 98%. Then there's Whitehaven Beach, where the sand is so fine it squeaks under your feet. Scientists still can't fully explain how all that pure silica ended up there. So yeah, Australia isn't just sunny, it's blindingly beautiful.
Fact number 10. The Blue Mountains are named after a blue haze. Just a few hours from Sydney sits the stunning Blue Mountains. And no, they're not called that because someone ran out of color ideas. The forests here are packed with eucalyptus trees that release oils into the air. When sunlight hits those oils, it scatters blue light and covers the whole region in a dreamy, misty haze. So the Blue Mountains aren't blue because of magic. It's just science showing off. Fact number 9. Australia has over 60 wine regions. Surprised? You shouldn't be. Australia is basically the chill cousin who surfs by day and sips premium wine by night. With around 65 wine regions producing about 1 billion liters of wine every year, it's one of the biggest wine producers in the world. Famous spots like Hunter Valley, Barossa Valley, and Margaret River are paradise for wine lovers. So yes, you can actually spend weeks traveling Australia and never run out of new wine to study. Fact number 8. K'gari, formerly known as Fraser Island, is home to Australia's purest wild dingoes. Welcome to K'gari, formerly known as Fraser Island, a paradise of sand, rainforests, and dingoes. But not just any dingoes, the purest wild breed in all of Australia. Since the island is isolated from the mainland, these dingoes haven't mixed with domestic dogs, so they've basically stayed 100% authentic since ancient times. Pure bloodline? Check. Beach access? Check. They're living better than most influencers. Fact number 7. K'gari also has the largest perched lake in the world. As if the island wasn't impressive enough, it's also home to Lake Boomingen, the largest perched lake on the planet, covering 190 hectares. These lakes are formed when rainwater fills a natural dip in the sand, completely isolated from rivers or oceans. K'gari also hosts Lake Mackenzie, a picture-perfect spot with crystal clear water and pure white sand, nature's luxury pool with zero entry fee.
Fact number 5. Australia has the world's longest fence. Forget the Great Wall of China, Australia's got the dingo fence, and it's even longer. Stretching 5,600 kilometers across Queensland, New South Wales, and South Australia, it was built to keep wild dingoes away from livestock. It's basically a massive keep out sign for predators. So yeah, Australia literally fenced off half its continent and still somehow found room for everything else. Fact number 4. The word selfie was invented in Australia. Yup, this global phenomenon was born down under. Back in 2002, some Aussies on an online forum casually dropped the word selfie, and the internet never recovered. By 2013, Oxford Dictionary made it official. So every time you post a selfie, remember to thank Australia, and maybe blame them a little too. Fact number 3. The Australian Alps get more snow than Switzerland. Plot twist: Australia isn't just beaches and barbecues. It snows there. A lot. The snowy mountains, stretching through New South Wales and Victoria, actually get more fresh snowfall per year than Switzerland. So yeah, you can surf in the morning and ski at night, all in one country. It's like Australia looked at the weather chart and said, let's just have all of it. Fact number 2. Australia has some of the world's most unique wildlife. About 80% of the animals here exist nowhere else on Earth. Kangaroos, koalas, wombats, echidnas, the list goes on. Even the world's only egg-laying mammals, the platypus and echidna, call Australia home. So yeah, if you ever think Earth's biodiversity is wild, remember that half of it probably lives in Australia, and most of it looks like a cartoon character. And fact number 1. Australia is the only country that's also a continent. And finally, the grand finale. Australia, the only nation on Earth that's also an entire continent. It's the 6th largest country in the world, part of Oceania, and sits proudly between the Pacific and Indian Oceans. It's surrounded by smaller subregions like Australasia, Melanesia, and Polynesia. But Australia itself, it stands alone. Massive, mysterious, and mind-blowingly diverse, this single country is home to deserts, rainforests, coral reefs, and snowy peaks, all rolled into one sunburnt masterpiece. So there you have it, 30 insane facts about Australia's geography, from the penguins in the south to the fossils older than time could. It's weird, wild, and wonderful, just like the Aussies who call it home. If you learned something new, hit that like button. And remember, fact number 11 still wins.